Slide number 1, the impact of social media on young people through the prism of COVID-19. So we'll move towards the abstract. Before that, I will introduce myself. Name is Professor Preetesh Dilip Pathare, and my research paper is the impact of social media on young people through the prism of COVID-19. So let's move toward the abstract. This study examines the literature and studies that are currently accessible on the issue to examine the link between social media and its impact on young people's well-being. While some claim that social media is bad for kids, others contend that the advantages of the internet and social media outweigh the drawbacks. This study objective is to give a broad review of existing research and literature so that it may recommend topics for future research that will assist to increase internet safety and our knowledge of how young people use social media. Introduction. Social media, which was first made popular in 1990s through blogging, chat rooms, and message boards, hence since grown to be one of the most widely used and well-known channels for communication worldwide. Social media has developed dramatically over the past 15 years as a result of a development of a well-known websites like Facebook, Twitter, giving individuals all over the world the opportunity to interact and communicate with one another swiftly and simultaneously. We have created many different ways to stay in contact and interact with one another in order to satisfy this inborn social need for communication, which has evolved alongside the development of new technologies and the form of communications. Due to the accessibility it offers people to an even more effective manner of communicating with loved ones and staying updated on their lives. This has made it possible for the development of a modern social media. Due to the present rise in and need for internet connection, parents and professionals have once again questioned whether social media and other online communication tools are safe for young people. The purpose of the research thesis paper is to review the literature on the effects of social media on teenagers. This research paper also compares youngsters' social media use before and during the COVID-19 pandemic to see if lifestyle changes brought on by the epidemic may have had an impact. The major goal of this research is to investigate the sociological and psychological consequences of social media on youth people's well-being. The main hypothesis of this research paper is regarding the possible negative effects and positive effects of a social media on young people's well-being. Now, have a look through literature review. Even though the full extent of these effects, whether positive or negative, has not been established, extensive research has revealed a potential connection between social media use and mental health issues like depressions and anxiety, as well as potential threats to mental health like low self-esteem issues, self-harm, decreased sleep, and increased stress in teenagers. 2015, as referred in Kraut L. 1998. However, according to other research, social media use is moderation can actually be good for teenagers' mental and physical health. Humans are social beings who need human interactions and attachments to develop social and emotional support since they are social animals. Without these appropriate social ties, social health may worsen, leaving these people lonely with lower social abilities and feeling cut off other society. Children and teenagers need to be socially connected in order to develop these connections with their peers, acquire social skill, and raise their status and social capital. This social connection is crucial for youngsters' identity formation, but today's youth are also worried about their online persons, which adds pressure to both the present and the generation to come. The internet is tremendous resource for finding out new informations, keeping in touch with loved ones and creating communities, but it also carries the danger of exposing users to potential harm and detrimental action and content. In addition, Ricard in 2015 found that young individuals on social networking sites are more likely to engage in risk-taking behavior that may compromise their health. Adolescents and teens. Social media accounts have been found to display risk behaviors including drug use, sexual activity, and violence that may have an influence on them in future. The goal of this project was to conduct an extensive literature analysis of the current and accessible studies on the psychological and sociological effects of social media on teenagers' health and well-being. Once the research has been examined and the researcher was able to generate a list of notable themes that were categorized by subjects or resemblance discovered in all of the papers and articles we evaluate. Four distinct themes about the impact of social media on young people were identified through an analysis of recent research and literature. The first is whether social media is beneficial or detrimental to mental health. Second, the use of a social media to meet social demands. Third, the emergence of a new ways for individuals to keep in contact as a result of the epidemic. And fourth, the use of the third person by youth, young people when discussing their problems. We can offer insight and a fresh viewpoint on the potential drawbacks or advantages of social media in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic through the use of these themes. This insight will have an impact on areas that can be improved and advantages that can be taken advantage of. Have a look through social media beneficial or negative or mental health. The childhood and teenage years are critical for overall development, but because of the additional strain caused by the COVID-19 epidemic, many young people are now dealing with increasing anxiety, depression, and usage of technological and social media. Social media has been associated with possible risks to mental health such as sleep trouble, sleep harm, impulsivity, risk-taking behaviors, body image problems, and low self-esteem. The communication and connectivity of a social media could be especially beneficial for this group, giving them more beneficial results consistent with their peers. A way to meet social needs through social media. According to research in developmental psychological, young people require healthy peer connections to build and enhance their social networks and social abilities. It has been demonstrated that using social media as a tool to interact with others may decrease isolation, develop social skill, and provide a platform for continuing in contact. New forms of communication emerge as a result of a pandemic. Since they can stay in touch with their friends while being confined, and social media has been able to provide young people a feeling of a normalcy throughout the epidemic, as was previously said. With the use of a website like Zoom, Skype, Google Hangout, and others, it is now possible to communicate virtually face to face with friends and families. The fact that a lot of human communication relies on non-verbal clues like hand gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact makes this social and educational platform crucial as well. Discussion. Due to the prominence of a social media, young people are at a particularly impressionable stage of their mental and social development, and much of this development is taking place online and being facilitated by social media. The negative social features that occur online, such as cyberbullying and potential risk factors, are examined in relation to the mental health conditions that are common with regular usage, anxiety, and depression. On the other hand, the advantages that are highlighted center on the social connection that social media may foster and how these relationships help people construct their identities. The study's analysis revealed that despite the evident benefits and harms, there is still disagreement among professionals and parents as to whether the disadvantages outweigh the advantages or vice versa. Recommendations and suggestions. Future research should examine the most effective method for educating youngsters about internet safety so that they can use the internet and social media for their benefit while also being wary of the drawbacks without being afraid of the harms or ashamed if they experience harm. Future research should concentrate on the best ways for young people to use the advantages of the internet to further their education, social relationships, and identity formation. We have references which I have carried through. It is from Paris City, Sidoti, C.L. Brigas, S.M. Rieter, S.R. and Lindesi, R.A. 2017 Adolescent Social Media Use and Mental Health from Adolescent and Parent Perspective, Journal of Reference. Thank you.